You noticed a musty smell in the living room, or a home inspector flagged dampness under the house. Now you're looking at contractor quotes ranging from a few $100s to well over $15,000. Down in the dark, damp space beneath your floorboards, it's hard to know what you're looking at, let alone what it takes to fix it. To make matters worse, sales reps often use the terms vapor barrier and encapsulation interchangeably. In reality, they represent two entirely different scopes of work. Getting this wrong has real consequences. Underinvest and you risk ongoing structural rot and ruined insulation. Overinvest and you waste thousands of dollars on a premium system your home didn't need. Surviving the quote process requires diagnosing exactly how moisture is entering your space before you commit to a solution. You want to buy the specific fix your house requires and nothing else. The fundamental rule of crawlspace repair is simple. The cost of the system scales with the number of moisture pathways entering the space. We can map this on a grid. We track the number of moisture pathways on the bottom axis against the total solution cost on the side. In the lower left, a crawlspace dealing with a single moisture source, like simple evaporation from exposed soil, only requires a straightforward, low-cost fix. As we move to the upper right, the environment gets complicated. If you're dealing with soil moisture, humid outside air, damp concrete walls, and sweating ducts all at once, you need a multifaceted, high-cost system. Accurately plotting your home's actual symptoms on this chart is the only way to avoid paying $15,000 for a $500 problem. Before choosing a solution, we have to address the most dangerous mistake a homeowner can make: installing a sealed plastic liner over an active, unresolved problem. Certain conditions must halt an encapsulation project in its tracks. If you have standing water, an active plumbing leak, or sagging, rotten floor joists, you have to stop. Ignoring these issues and sealing the space traps bulk liquid water inside a plastic envelope, which hides ongoing wood rot from plain sight. Official environmental health guidance is clear. Bulk water entry and leaks must be managed before any sealing happens. Correcting grading, redirecting downspouts, or installing a sump pump will extend the project timeline and add upfront costs before any plastic goes down. However, an expensive encapsulation system is worthless if it is actively rotting your foundation from the inside out. Once your structure is secure and dry, the most basic option is a standard vapor barrier. This involves laying a relatively thin plastic liner exclusively over the exposed dirt floor. In this cross-section, the plastic acts as a physical shield, stopping soil moisture from evaporating upward. It successfully addresses that single pathway. However, because foundation vents remain open, humid outside air continues flowing freely into the space, completely bypassing the ground plastic. When humid summer air rolls through those vents and hits your cold HVAC ducts, condensation forms. Now you have water dripping onto your barrier from above. A basic vapor barrier is a cost-effective choice for a dry crawl space, but it offers no protection against a humid climate and open vents. That brings us to the premium tier, full crawlspace encapsulation. This requires sealing all exterior vents, running a heavy-duty liner up the concrete foundation walls and support piers, and physically taping every single seam. The diagram shows the shift to a fully sealed envelope, blocking out soil vapor and outside air. But because no space is perfectly airtight, this system requires an active dehumidifier to manage the trapped air. The result is a totally isolated, climate-controlled zone that solves multiple moisture pathways simultaneously. The trade-offs include a $5,000 to $15,000 price tag, necessary electrical permits, and the ongoing utility and maintenance costs for the dehumidifier. While encapsulation is the ultimate defense against moisture, it turns the crawl space from a passive void into an active mechanical system requiring permanent upkeep. Now it's time to self-diagnose your home to determine which system you actually need. We can break this down by starting with one question. What do you see under the house? If you see standing water, bouncy floors, or plumbing leaks, stop. Halt all encapsulation talks immediately. Call a plumber or a structural engineer to secure the foundation before you address moisture vapor. If your crawl space is completely dry year-round, fairly clean, but just has bare dirt, follow the second path. Maintain the status quo. A simple ground tarp handles the soil moisture and saves you from unnecessary expensive contractor upsells. If you smell musty odors in the house, see sweating ducts, and find heavy, wet insulation falling to the ground, take the final path. A cheap tarp will fail here. Full encapsulation with active dehumidification is the necessary investment to stop the rot and protect your home's lifespan. The final step is taking your diagnosis and holding the contractor accountable to the correct scope of work. When you finally have those various estimates in hand, remember that the lowest bid is rarely the safest choice for your home. Only accept a quote that includes specific, written technical details about what is actually being installed. The contract must spell out the exact liner thickness, the precise methods used to seal the seams, and who is responsible for pulling electrical permits. Aligning the technical scope with your home's specific moisture pathways turns a repair project into an active preservation strategy for your foundation's long-term health.